Welcome back to Open Line. We are talking about changes to our bail system. We have with us Mario Hambrick, Mark Woodside. Mario Hambrick's from Bust Out Bail Bonds.
Free at last bonding.
Is it free at last?
Free at last bail bonding.
So what is that? Okay, free at last. This is so very important. And then Mark Woodside, Melton bonding.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm so glad. We got to get that right. And then we just had Sheriff Darren Hall call in with kind of the other side of this issue. We have Candace McKinney here on Facebook saying to you all both. So you're saying if I'm poor and wrongfully charged, I should lose my job, lose my house because I don't have money to bond myself out. That's one strand that's on Facebook. What do you say to Candace McKinney and others that are saying that?
To Ms. McKinney, I would say that we would not oppose at all pretrial interviewing her, determining her eligibility. If in fact she was indigent and unable to afford bond, by all means, I would hope that pretrial get her out and let her go back to work.
So, again, this is kind of a process.
Sure.
And you're up for some reform.
Sure.
You just got to figure out.
We're all about it. I mean, people call the office all the time and says, hey, I'm charged with DUI. I say, hey, call pretrial, 862-7673. Maybe they'll get you out and you don't have to use me. Mm-hmm. But what we're saying is, hey, if a guy goes out here, he goes to the airport with 6 pounds of weed, and previously on probation has open cases, I mean, from per what we know and the legislature's put in place, he's not even supposed to even have an interview. He should have to make bond. He has prior history, guy is on probation, and he's not supposed to even be interviewed, but it happens every day.
Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike. Hello, Mike.
Yes, I'd like to make a statement and ask a question. One thing that we're missing in this whole discussion here, one thing we're missing in this whole discussion is the victims as a result of people who are let out of jail. When the judges make the decision to set up a bond, of course, the bondsman accepts responsibility for that amount. What about the damage to people? The crimes are committed against people who are bonded out of jail. Who should be responsible for that? As bondsman, would you be willing to accept the liability for these people that you bonded out? You're going to say no. If you talk to the judge, is the judge willing to accept the monetary liability for the crimes that these people commit? The judge is going to say no. So the missing factor in all of this is that our citizens are subject to this whole process, and when the damage is done, you're nowhere to be found, Mr. Bondsman. Judge, you're nowhere to be found, and our citizens have suffered again mightily because of this process. Thank you for hearing my statement, and my question is, somebody has forgot the public in this whole issue.
Okay.
Can I answer?
Yes,
or can
go
I give
ahead.
Mike an answer?
Go ahead.
A lot of the bonds that we write, the judges do put bond conditions on them where, say, the defendant is supposed to have no contact with the victim or something like that. If the defendant does get out through my company and harasses the victim or something like that, it's called a violation of bond condition. That gives me the authority to get in my car, go out, pick him up, and put him back in jail because he violated the bond condition. So when you ask the question, would I be willing? I do it on a daily basis.
Let's go to Brian. Hello, Brian.
Hey, isn't it at the discretion of the bail bondsman? He can pick up the guy for like whatever reason, but usually like they're friends and they know each other, and like a lot of times, like I live out in the country and stuff, you know, just west of Nashville, and you know, there a lot of them know each other and stuff, and they go pick up each other's, you know, cousins or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's like weird about the bail bond thing, because you put up your money in, you gotta trust like a family relative or friend, because if you don't show up to court, they're gonna like, you know, take all that money back. Isn't that correct?
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I don't understand the part about the family members or whatever. But yeah, that's how it works. You put up the money, and then.
I guess he's talking about if he comes and a family member bonds someone out, and the person doesn't come up to court, then basically the bondsman has a certain amount of time to either find the person. If they can't find him, and the judge orders us to pay the bond, then whomever signed the bond, then basically we either file a lawsuit or tell them they must pay the bond.
How often does that happen?
A few times a year. We have quite a bit of people who, family members skip out and we can't find them, and so we'll have to go over and cut a check to the courts. And we'll write a letter and basically say, hey, Ben, hey, Billy Bob didn't go, so, you're going to have to pay this bond. Mm-hmm. And some people will do it or make arrangements to, make payments or whatever to sufficient, to make it right.
These changes that we're seeing, I think they're well-intentioned. Are they going to, is there room for your business to continue with the way changes are or not? Do these things knock you out of business, or do they, what?
They will eventually put us out of business. If we cannot reach a happy medium, it will eventually put us out of business.
And I guess, again, what the sheriff is saying is, well, again, if you're presumed innocent and you haven't committed a violent crime, then you should be, you shouldn't have to pay money to get out. And so, what do you say to that?
We don't have a problem with the non-violent, non-drug related indigent people. We don't have a problem with that at all.
If they operated per one of the General Sessions judges, they basically said, hey, any misdemeanor in Davidson County, we're going to let go. Hey, that's fine. But they're doing felonies and everything else. I think it was Judge Blackburn, Melissa Blackburn, said, they were going to let all misdemeanors go in Davidson County. Well, that's misdemeanors and tons of felonies. And so, it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, you say one thing, but yet you're doing another. So, we're basically like, what's going on here?
All right, we're going to take a break. We're streaming this live on our Facebook page. If you want to comment, you can comment on the section down there below. If you're holding on, hold on. We'll get to your call. A couple lines open if you want to call in. 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.